because I've been waiting for this for a while, because I mean, I want to see, does he make good points? You know what I mean? Because like some of his rantings have rung hollow to me, right? But like I've been seeing like tweets, and like I don't know if like people like sometimes Twitter just doesn't communicate well, right? You have limited characters and things like that. He seems to be very upset with like the messaging of like the edgelord messaging of like LPNH and things like that, and has some bones to pick. I don't understand that, because he is the greatest troll ever. As a matter of fact, let me just before we do this, in case you don't know who Vermin Supreme is, right? Some of you guys that aren't libertarians or haven't, you know, been in the libertarian circles for a very long time, I think to sell across just how amazing of a troll he is, and how he and how he has been in politics for such a long time. You know, he has been kind of famous for political satire, of just pointing out the ridiculousness of the state by running satirical campaigns that are over the top. And so a nice little example of this is Vermin Supreme's this Oblivion NPC dialogue.
My name is Vermin Supreme. I am a friendly fascist. I am a tyrant that you should trust, and you should let me run your life, because I do know what is best for you. Yes, I am a politician. I will promise you anything your little electorate heart desires, because you are my constituents. You are the informed voting public, and because I have no intention of keeping any promise that I make. Vote early, vote often. Remember, a vote for Vermin Supreme is a vote completely thrown away. Now, friends, some people will tell you that this mandatory toothbrushing law is about the secret dental police kicking down your door at 3 a.m. to make sure you've brushed. Friends, it is not. Some will mention the dental re-education centers or the preventative dental maintenance detention facilities. It's about none of these things. It's not about the government-issued toothpaste containing an addictive yet harmless substance. No, friends, it is not even about DNA gene splicing to create a race of winged monkeys to act as tooth fairies. This is my mother. There we go. And 5 years ago this April, I gave her a kidney. My challenge to you people, everybody on the stage and everybody in the audience, give up a kidney. Free ponies for all Americans, one of the overlooked issues in America today. My free pony platform is, of course, a jobs creation program. It will create lots and lots of jobs once we switch over to a pony-based economy. We'll also lower our dependence on foreign oil. We'll also be able to turn all that pony poop into methane gas and wonderful compost, so we'll be able to free up our soil that is being depleted by agrochemicals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, of course, the important thing to realize is that it is a federal pony identification program.
What about
where
China?
You will need your pony with you at all times. Thank you very much. But in the vein of energy production, I'd also like to address my harnessing the awesome power of zombies for energy sources. It's not just to run away from anymore. No, we have giant turbines that we're working on, and we will have lots of zombies, and we'll just sort of dangle brains in front of them, and then they will turn the giant turbines, creating energy to lessen the dependence on foreign oil in America here
today. That's not a bad plan.
My name is Vermin, my name is Vermin, Vermin Supreme. My name is Vermin, my name is Vermin, my name is Vermin, Vermin, Vermin Supreme. And you can vote, and you can vote, and you can vote for me for president if you want to. And my name is Vermin. And okay, thanks very much for coming out today. Oh, one more thing. Jesus told me to make Randall Terry gay with magic sprinkle dust.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Supreme.
Jesus told me to make him gay with magic sprinkle dust. All right, so this is the guy who on Twitter has been very upset with the LPNH's messaging. I don't know that you have a lot of room to talk about that, like, honestly, but I want to hear what he has to say. You know what I mean? Like, he's a political satirist for the libertarian movement, and he's been the greatest troll ever. But that said, He's talking to the LNC,
Has he
the
lost
head of
his
the
touch?
Libertarian Party. I guess. I don't know, man. Oops, wrong way.
Looks like someone else uses StreamYards too.
Alrighty, ponies. Are you ready? How about you, pony? Are you ready? Oh, good. Oh, good. And how about you, pony? Are you?
Do you see why I wanted to watch like at least a little bit of this? Like Angela McArdle looks so thrilled that Vermin Supreme has been talking shit on Twitter, and she has
he
to
been
talk
hanging
to
out
him.
with Spike Cohen?
I don't fucking what because Spike Cohen's a brony.
Yeah.
Also ready? Oh, I thought you might be. All right, ponies. Let's go. Giddy up, ponies. Faster, 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 faster. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, up, up. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, up, up. Giddy up, 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 up. Whoa. Ponies. Now kiss. Mwah. 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 Aw, nice ponies. I hope you like ponies too. Hi, everybody. It's me, Vermin Supreme from the internet. Hi, Angela. Hi, Angela McArdle. Is that you?
That's me. In the
Hi.
flesh.
I can't hear you. You're going to have to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Are you unmuted? I can't hear you.
I'm unmuted.
Hello?
I can hear.
can't hear Angela.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
Excuse me, Angela. We're having some technical difficulties. One moment. Thank you for being here.
Why did y'all leave this in?
Well, this is.
I
this
make
is
sure
on
to edit
Angela-
this shit out.
Well, I think Angela, from what I could gather from her tweets, she was not pleased with this interview. So I think she wanted the full scope of what was going on in this interview. But again, I'm watching it for the first time.
Yeah, actually, I get it from that perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. Well, welcome once again to Super Tuesdays with Vermin Supreme. Of course, I'm Vermin Supreme, and today is indeed a very Super Tuesday. Super Tuesday is, of course, the show where I talk to representatives of various political parties to see if we are a perfect fit. Angela, are you there? Can we hear you now?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I think you're gonna have to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Angela. I think you might be muted. You there? Let's see here. Oh, I wonder why I can't hear you. That's very interesting. Let's see. You can hear her in there? Oh, okay. So it's on my end. Okay. Well, I've got my volume up, and let's see. That's all I know how to do is turn my volume up. I don't know why I am not hearing you, Angela, and I apologize for that. I do not have headphones connected.
We're going to skip through some technical difficulties for a second.
Technical difficulties, but we have overcome those difficulties, and I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate your being here with us here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, Angela McArdle, indeed the current chairwoman or simply chair of the Libertarian Party of America, I guess, right? Is that what it's called? Libertarian Party of America or something like that?
National Libertarian Party.
National Libertarian Party.
He looks like he's trying to do a Radagast cosplay.
But with like a random boot because he didn't have like anything around the house that he could make out of it.
It's my wizard hat.
It's my wizard hat.
Sure. Whatever works.
That works for me. I would like to very much welcome you, Angela, and thank you very much for appearing on this broadcast here this evening.
Thank you.
Yes. What can you tell us about yourself?
About me, I mean, I live in Texas. You know, personally, I have a little baby. He's a little over 5 months old. You know, I work at home. I do this full time. Got a lot going on. Good times. I love it.
Nice, wonderful. Well, I'm very glad that you that are doing something that you love, and I hope it's treating you very well. Now, of course, this is about the Libertarian Party this evening. That is what we are exploring and discussing, and I appreciate you being here to answer several questions here tonight. Of course, the Libertarian Party, I joined it a little prior to 2016, and I found it to be a very beautiful stew of libertarian thought. There was a wide range of thoughts. You had your radical party, you had your pragmatists trying to keep the radicals in check, and the radicals trying to keep the prags in check. You had a very robust.
This is the weirdest timeline.
Socialist caucus. There was the outright libertarians. There was quite a variety of libertarian thoughts and viewpoints. In fact, even I remember in 2020, one of the later debates, Judge Jim Gray actually went so far as to start promoting a negative income tax, which was very close to UBI. And so it was very interesting. And of course, I felt very welcomed into that party. There was a certain simpatico. I realized that I had a very wide base of support within the party, and sought the Libertarian Party nomination. Now, of
never
course,
seriously,
as if
yeah, never seriously though.
though the Libertarian Party of 2023 is considerably different from the party of 2020 and 21. And it's not
all those fake libertarians left.
Yeah, right.
Well, not all of them, Carolyn.
Platform has changed.
Well, I mean, but at least Carolyn is pretending to be a Mises Caucus libertarian.
When?
I don't know. Sort of. I don't. It's fucking
that much.
I mean, she pretends to be an anarchist when it suits her, and then not when it doesn't.
But the culture and the messaging and the way it is perceived is indeed very different. So I would like to ask you and give you this opportunity to tell the people why people should consider joining the Libertarian Party, the National Libertarian Party.
Well, I mean, maybe we should start by talking about the culture. And, you know, it's no secret, you know, one of the figureheads of the quote unquote takeover of the Libertarian Party. I decided to run for chair in 2020 as a reaction to the Libertarian Party at the national level's failure to rebuke the lockdowns of the federal government and the states. We thought that the Libertarian Party's response to that at the national level was really weak. It was basically non-existent for an entire year. It was the most awkward, weird political thing I've experienced. And so I ran to change that. And we did. We have turned it around. Messaging is very different. You're absolutely right.
Dude, people say that I have patience when I go to debate communists, but like given this entire intro portion that we've gone through,
this first 9.5 minutes,
God bless Angela McArdle for putting up with that and then just giving a serious, like, I don't know that I could give a serious response after all of these antics. Like, it was like, what do you want would be my...
After the pony play, I would assume this was a scuffed interview.
Right. Like, I don't know what to do. Jesus. All right. I mean, like, you give a serious response. I'm with you, Angela. I mean, okay. I mean, we have some disagreements sometimes, but I say we have some disagreements like she gives a fuck what I think, but nevertheless, you will one day, lady. But yeah, no, like, Jesus Christ, God bless her.
I think that we are, at least on the face of it, a very different party. Our membership has grown in some ways and definitely contracted in other areas.
Yes, but it has indeed.
It is the same party that it was in 1971. And what I really wanted to do.
Do you believe that David Nolan would feel comfortable in the party today?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, interesting. I do. Well, that is a very, very curious. Now, but why the Libertarian Party as opposed to any other party? Of course, what you referenced was simply one particular topic that you took issue with. But to the larger, writ large American public, why the Libertarian Party?
Well, I mean, we are libertarians. We're all about individualism, individual rights. We care about property rights, free speech, the Second Amendment. Like,
someone was like, "What?"
I wouldn't know what nationalist messaging because I am blocked by them.
Yeah, I was going to comment on the same thing. God, who knows, man? So many. I mean, like, the LP account has blocked quite a few people, which I think is stupid. I don't think they should be blocking anybody. I think that should just be a rule that you don't block people, even if they say wild shit. Like, you're not a personal account. That being said, there are a lot of people that just take opportunities to talk shit, especially a lot of prags. And you know, and so I understand the impulse to block people, but I mean, like if I was, you know, if I was president, right, like I would just be like, yeah, don't fucking block people, because it just becomes a dub for these people. They want that, right? They want it so that they can be like, I wouldn't know what the national messaging is because I'm blocked by them. You know, like that's what they want.
Badge of honor.
Yeah, it's a badge of honor to get blocked and then and then use that as like a cudgel when talking to other people about how they're actually authoritarian, even though that's not what authoritarian is, right? Like getting blocked by people that don't want to hear you talk shit is in no way, shape, or form authoritarian. But people have married this idea of statism with political parties and expect political parties to never block them. And like, while that isn't necessarily true, it's just it's not a good look to have people be able to brag about being blocked by you. They get to win forever, and it's just like I think they should unblock everyone that isn't a bot account. And that isn't like someone that DM'd them being like, you know, amazing jobs at Amazon, you know, and just give us all your personal information. Like block those, but like anybody that's just an asshole, like yeah, just ignore them.
Individual rights. We care about property rights, free speech, the Second Amendment. Like this is, you know, from a Mises perspective, this is our passion point. Like we are the Libertarian Party. So why would we go anywhere else?
Well, it also seems that it has taken, compared and contrasted with the vision that I had described of a number of different conflicting or perhaps complementary strains of libertarians all working together. It seems that the paleos seem to be the predominant force within the party currently. Do you believe that to be accurate?
I guess it depends on what you define as a paleo. So I don't consider myself a paleo libertarian. There are people that do, but I don't think I'm quite socially conservative enough for that. I'm more of a social moderate, and I think that a lot of people in the party are. I think that things have skewed so far left in fairly recent history that it's sort of difficult to calibrate. What is paleo? What is conservative? What is you know, center?
True. Yeah. I love the people that are saying pro-life too, like because the LP took it out of their platform. They're not, just because there's a lot of pro-life people in the LP doesn't make the LP pro-life. They didn't adopt a pro-life stance in their party platform. What they did is they took out the language that was like, we're for a woman's right to choose, because that doesn't match, pro-choice doesn't match any libertarian philosophy. If you're a libertarian, you're either a departurist or an evictionist. Like those are the only two libertarian positions. I am an evictionist, right? Which leans more towards the pro-choice position, if you will, right? And then there are people that are departurists that lean more towards the pro-life position, if you will, right? But neither of them are pro-life or pro-choice. Neither of those are libertarian positions. You know, and there will be some pro-life libertarians that'll get pissy with me and say yes, but most of them don't even know what departurism is. And to be fair, departurism is really just a made-up fucking thing to attack evictionism. I think evictionism is the only libertarian position. But the idea of pro-choice being the only libertarian position, like I don't know what argument you make that human fetuses don't have fundamental human rights as a libertarian, unless you're making that argument about 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds. Right? Like if the argument is that the species of human DNA doesn't have human rights based off of some consequential analysis of like the ability to feel pain or some level of consciousness, you're either in a position where you are pro-choice up to a certain point and you're doing so with a consequential analysis that makes no sense, or if you're going with consciousness, you're going until 2, 3, 4 years old, and you must also argue that mentally ill people never attain human rights. Like it doesn't make sense, right? So this idea that they're like, oh, these fucking pro-life people, it's like, no, they just took that out of the party platform because it's not something that the LP has a strong position on, because there is diversity within those opinions within the LP. It's the exact opposite of that. What they had before was a pro-choice Prague Democrat position that was anti-libertarian.
Difficult to calibrate. What is paleo? What is conservative? What is you know, center?
Now, of course, the messaging has been criticized, and of course, not most famously, but recently you produced an infomercial, if you will, an info commercial. And could we roll that, Dave? It's the
Oh God, is it gonna? Oh, this is gonna be so good. It's got to be Jeremy Kaufman video.
Drunken Rats one.
I just wanted a women's.
Oh no, hers.
Yes, it's
Some people worry that our fundraising's been down. Some people worry the LP might not be in as good of shape as it could be. Think of the LP as a car that's been driven by drunken rats.
drunken rats. You're calling people drunken rats?
Yeah.
What is that all about? Is that very professional for you to be calling your predecessors drunken rats?
Yeah.
Pause.
Quite.
I can't think of a better description of Nicholas Sarwark than drunken rat.
Pussy. But I'm just fascinated by Vermin Supreme being upset about someone's unprofessionalism.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's an interesting person to bring this up for sure.
Frankly, I just
Should I be
Mr.
professional?
He's wearing a boot on his head. Like, if this man approached me in the street and I didn't know who he was, I would assume he was either crazy or drugged out homeless person, and I would actively get away from them.
Unless it was like a protest event, then I might assume it's like some type of like contest.
That's daily life. You're not at a protest in your daily life, unless you're a white
If
liberal
I saw him, I'd
in
be like
San Francisco.
I'd be like, what the fuck is going? Like, is there a protest around here or something? Like, that would probably be my first inclination.
Am I getting punked right now?
Same fucking Ashton Kutcher come back? Like, what's going on?
Predecessors drunken rats?
Yes.
I mean, quite frankly, I just
Should I be professional?
Yes, I mean, you are apparently a professional, preferably
Okay.
the chair of the fourth or fifth largest political party. I haven't seen
Third, not fourth or
third.
fifth.
Okay, that's the claim. We'll remember that. But
Are you? Is
he
a libertarian still?
I don't know what the fuck is going on with Vermin Supreme. Like, this is so weird. Like, that's the claim. What party? You think the Green Party is bigger than the LP? You think the Forward Party?
The Watermelons?
The Constitutionalist Party that is in like 3 states? Like, fucking what? The LP was the only party to get ballot access in all 50 states.
Or is it Andrew Yang's new party that just kind of went away now?
Yeah, the Ford Party.
Yeah, they went forward into obscurity, I see.
Yeah.
Just that seems to indicate your willingness to make a number of people unwelcome, feel unwelcome in this party. And why should people feel welcome to the party, and why should people feel unwelcome in this party? I guess that might be a question.
Sure. I think anyone who staged a coup to steal assets from a party and then hid it from his peers should be unwelcome in the party. I'm talking about the former chair, not Whitney Billieu, not the one who came immediately from me. She didn't do anything like that.
So she wasn't one of the rats. She was not one of the drunken rats, is what you're saying. You're explicitly saying that Whitney was.
Oh, now we're just getting people denying that that Sarwark helped.
Not a rat.
Yeah, but her predecessor was.
And so you're making a claim that they are actual rats, literally rats.
Literal rats with whiskers? No, I don't. I believe metaphor is we can use metaphor.
Rats are very, very nice animals, of course, unless they're spreading bubonic plague and germs and stuff like that, of course. Now, speaking of rats,
piss wherever they walk, right? Just letting you know, Vermin.
I guess there is that issue of the LNC essentially ratting out literally or in the parlance of the kids these days. And of course, I'm referencing Michigan. And of course, I'd like to preface it by reading a tweet of yours that says, "I am a strong advocate of physical property rights. I do not believe government should be able to enforce intellectual property laws." But once again, here is the LNC, and I assume that you were involved in this decision to file a lawsuit in court against a state affiliate.
No, against people impersonating a state affiliate.
I guess that's the claim, but they claim that they are the legitimate state leadership and are acting as such and continue to act.
Yeah, well, that's what court's for.
That's what the claim is.
Right. Like
in that capacity. So it's very interesting, this particular conflict that you've decided that you would resolve through the courts, through at the threat of gunpoint, if you will. And not only that, but the FEC complaint.
Yes, we have to use the systems in place before us. unfortunately. We don't get the choice to use our arbitration firm and solve this.
Right? It's like if we don't, then other people can just get ballot access and like defraud people in the voting system that we don't necessarily want. But like, what?
It's actually
like,
greater.
I'm not
it's
against
greater that we protect people from fraud.
Right? I don't understand. I mean, I get what he's saying. Like, but like, is his argument then that like ANCAPs and libertarians should never vote and should never join a party? Because that doesn't seem to be what he's advocating for.
Well, because it's a civil matter. So there's no gunpoint. It's a civil matter. So we're not sending the police after someone.
But you would if you would if you.
I mean, okay, I mean, Angela. I mean, that's technically wrong, right? Because if people refuse to pay damages in civil court, like eventually they'll be garnished. If they refuse to be garnished, then eventually armed people will show up to enforce the civil payments. That are ready to commit violence. It's not a direct one-to-one that the police are coming to kick down, but if they refuse to pay, eventually you would utilize the enforcement mechanism to enforce them to do so.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it's a small point of contention.
You could, is that right?
No, we haven't had a conversation about that, and I don't think that anybody would stomach that. I don't actually think that's the case.
Perhaps I could go break their kneecaps or something for you.
I mean, like water gun, maybe, but I don't know about kneecaps. I feel like a lawsuit is probably.
How about pies? How about glitter?
Glitter?
Wait, what did that comment say?
How about pies? How about glitter?
I don't know about kneecaps.
If you tip your hat to Nick Fuentes, welcome in. If you stand up for the rights of trans people, get the fuck out. Oh man, these people.
I feel like a lawsuit is probably.
How about pies? How about glitter?
Mm-hmm.
Glitter? Man, is glitter a NAP violation?
I believe it's not. And of course, at some point during this broadcast, if we were in the same place at the same time, I would, of course.
Is the herpes of
I would have had an
supplies.
umbrella. I would be ready for your glitter.
Very, very exciting.
It's fair.
Unfortunately, we did not upload the glitter falling portion. Yes, but there are those that argue that the LNC is flagrantly involving themselves in states' affiliates and states' business, and are just, I mean, I was a judge once, and several of these cases came up before me, and each and every time I concluded that the LNC was indeed way overstepping their boundaries in getting involved. And of course, that was the previous LNC, not even the current LNC, which I would have to agree is fully along the same lines, just way overstepping one's boundaries. And that's just.
But not everyone agreed with you. There were mixed opinions.
Dude, this is so awkward. Like, it's just like like there's this weird tension where like Vermin is such a character and yet he's clearly on the attack, but like it's an insane ramblings for his entertainment value. And like she has to, this is such an unenviable position to be in for her, because like it needs to be addressed because he's a big figure. And so she kind of has to talk to him, but he's fucking going wacko while also just straight up attacking. And it's so many layers of satire and bullshit that it's like, if you pick apart each wrong thing, you seem like the asshole. I don't know that I would be able to handle this as well as she would. I'm pretty good with debates and stuff, but this is rough.
Of course, of course. But ultimately, I am the absolute arbitrator of such things, naturally. Okay, so you have no issue, no problem with going to the Federal Election Commission to complain about.
I'm curious, like, what would you propose that I do to defend people from fraud? Like, I would prefer that I have some other mechanism, but it is what it is.
Sure. I think that is a discussion that libertarians need to have, to be presenting alternatives to these things, arbitration perhaps, or negotiations, or it's I guess it is ultimately on you to figure that out as a libertarian proponent of.
That's a long way of saying nothing. I would do nothing. Yeah, arbitration that they didn't submit themselves to.
Yeah, like force them to the table.
Right.
Liberty to present ideas that do not involve the state in order to achieve one's political ends, that certainly don't do violence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wait.
So all
is he's advocating against using the state to achieve his political ends. So he doesn't have a dog in this fight. He should just be standing down. He doesn't want to do anything, which is fine, but you have no right to criticize anyone because you're actively doing the same thing that you're against here. Like, you still want to use this.
I'm not sure I follow.
So, I mean, he still wants to use this. Like, he wants to use the party. He wants to have the Libertarian Party and have people elected. Right. But he's criticizing Angela for using the political process.
Well, I don't know if he's a pacifist in this regard, right? Like, if he's making a pacifist argument in the idea that, like, you know, utilizing the state as an enforcement mechanism for fraud is somehow wrong, and that the only way to solve this is through purely voluntary means. But he's saying, like, even then he wouldn't utilize any form of violence ever, which would require him to be one could still be a pacifist and agree that individuals could be elected government officials as a means of promulgating that philosophy and reducing the size and scope of the state. So I mean, he could just be saying, well, I would be pacifist against fraud. It seems to be that his argument, which is not a libertarian argument, is it's wrong morally to use any violence against individuals that commit fraud, that we must come to the table, or we'll just be like, oh, well, yeah. I mean, he's just being a pacifist, which is fine to have as a personal opinion, but it's stupid to act like that's a anti-libertarian one. Libertarianism is not pacifism.
All that good stuff, and so good. So I'm glad that we are being mindful and all that good stuff here. Let's see what else we got here. Now, the messaging of the LP. I mean, one of the things that I felt extremely comfortable with was during my run for the nomination was fronting for the Libertarian Party platform, because of course I believe at the time, and I still believe, that a platform defines a political party, and that is ultimately the guide and what it stands for. However, when I look at a lot of the social medias, and of course I know you're not responsible for a lot of the state Twitter feeds and all that, because that's just all crazy fucking shit, edgelording crap. But the actual
I agree that, like, a lot of the state affiliates say really dumb things. I'm Vermin, I'm with you on this. On this, like, especially LPNH, like, they will say they will snatch defeat from the jaws of victory by, like, bringing up a really important point and then just saying mean shit that's just unhelpful, and it just makes us look bad. Like, while it might and they'll be like, but technically we're true. It's like, cool, you're technically right under libertarian philosophy. Congratulations on your dub. You just got,
and you're technically an asshole to everybody on the internet.
Right. And it's like, cool, you just got like 500 retweets or quote tweets and, like, 300 likes, and got ratioed to fuck, while all of these other political commentators are talking about how crazy, mean, and piece of shit libertarians are, because the messaging is just fucking trash. I mean, the most recent example was, I don't know if it was LP's national account or LPNH, that was talking about, the licensure of doctors, and the fact that doctors, haven't been licensed because of, like, state involvement. I'm like, yes. And then they go on to not mention the AMA, the American Medical Association, to not talk about the lodge system, to not talk about regulatory capture from pseudo private companies and all the problems that are present, to just say that doctors are evil people. It's like, yeah, technically you're right, because the AMA is made up of doctors, and doctors have promulgated this. But, like, dog, if your messaging is shitting on doctors, and most people's understanding of doctors is, like, the people that swear to do no harm and help them out, and, like, people are ER doctors, and, like, their family doctor, you're just shitting on them as all evil people instead of the actual systems that are a problem. Like, you did that so that you could be an edgelord, so that you could get a whole bunch more quote tweets, but all you spread was a message that libertarians are retarded and assholes. Like, that doesn't help anybody. Like, cool, you got to a large audience, and maybe some uncaptured libertarians got into a debate and another libertarian convinced them, maybe. but you're doing more harm than good with bad messaging like that.
National LNC Twitter account, which I am glad you got back after it disappeared, after Tyler Hobbs took it over and whatever. And if y'all figure that out, how to do that, get that back in executive committees or whatever, or transparency, or who needs it, right? I mean, it's not get the job done. Am I right?
What the fuck, man? Like, he's just trying to like talk shit the entire time.
He's incredibly venomous here.
Yeah.
You have some very interesting individuals who you've given the keys to the Twitter, of course, Reed Cooley, Dave Smith, and now Clinton stuff. And it's like, they're saying things. And when things are being said from the official Twitter account, it gives this official parameter that is like the official, the statements. And a lot of these things, a lot of times, and a lot of times they are strictly libertarian. And there are things that I like and would agree with. And it's like, oh, yes, and the Fed. Oh, yes, taxation is theft. But then something out of left field or something like, I mean, even this most recent one, which was sort of a mild example, public schools. And of course, there's plenty of arguments against public schools and all that. But claiming that they teach children to hate their country and hate their parents. I mean, there's a certain level of hyperbole and
your lack of education on social emotional learning, or most recently as Lisa Logan DM'd me, what is it called? I just want to do the whole child design. Like, you not knowing that social emotional learning is in a majority of elementary schools at this point in the United States, and that they teach radical Marxist theory, or I should say they teach critical theory, which is based upon Marxian philosophy, right? If you want to get mad, you not knowing about that and then just saying it's bad messaging from the LP is not my fucking fault. You don't know what the fuck you're talking
about. Lordism and speaking nonsense that, once again, I just don't believe it's very professional. Picking fights with politicians, or I mean, it just doesn't look.
Yeah, Ariel. I mean, like, if you want the easiest example, right? The easiest example is very simple. You go to Second Step's website. Second Step claims that they're in 34% of all elementary schools. On that same website, they specifically mention racial justice, diversity, equity, inclusion, transformative social emotional learning as all good things. It's like 2 clicks away. Just go through Second Step's website. Second Step also sponsored, along with Psychus, talks from Ibram X. Kendi, Kimberly Crenshaw, and Sumi Cho, who are all critical race theorists, that all in this talk that they sponsored and that they had speaking engagements at, claim that critical race theory is in schools and we need more of it to teach accurate history. Like, the idea that like this indoctrination is like just this 1 or 2 TikTok videos is directly countered by the people that do the indoctrination and the prominent critical race theorists.
Picking fights with politicians, or I mean, it just doesn't look good.
I mean, you have a boot on your head and you don't glitter on people, which I wholly
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But once again, I am not a political
party,
and I am not a professional pundit, and I'm not a professional media outlet. I'm
not
using my.
What are you talking about? You're not a professional pundit. You, in this conversation already, you've talked about running for the nomination.
Right?
What, you fucking serpent. You nasty person.
I mean, to be fair, he knew it was a meme and ran it as a meme.
Nasty. He's such a nasty person here.
Vermin Supreme, you heard it here first by Mark. He's a nasty woman.
He's such a skaven. Makes sense. No wonder he calls himself a vermin.
But you want to run for president. I mean, I am confused, because I would think that even though we would maybe disagree on the message, that we were pretty like aligned on trolling people.
Once again, I believe in trolling, and I admire your attempt to bring the severed, bloody head of Joe Biden into the Libertarian Party 50th anniversary party. I mean, and I appreciate
that was Fauci, and it was a piñata, and there was no blood.
Fauci piñata. Oh,
there was candy.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I thought it was that Kathy Griffin tribute that you were doing.
No, it was a piñata.
Because it fit very well in with the the guillotine, and you know, I'm driving around with a guillotine. That's wonderful. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. It makes a very powerful statement to the people that you're stuck in traffic with. But once again, if you're pretending or presenting yourself as a professional organization, it's the third largest political party in America. I don't think it should be a troll party. Or if it were to be a troll party, pardon?
I just think it's fascinating, like, to hear this from you, because you are like one of the best political trolls that I know. And
yes,
even
I'm
though
a very sensible person, I know reality, and I know the line between
that you know, I at this point I would quote Christopher Hitchens when he says, "I know reality," to extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Because the fact that you are well grounded in reality when you can't break out of your character ever is a difficult thing to surmise.
you know, edgelording, talking shit, trolling, and actually trying to present a professional presentation. And it seems like, sadly, a lot of people have left as a result of it. I mean, hell, even Reed Cooley and Josh Smith fucking took off because things were getting too crazy. So, you know, I just don't know what to make of it exactly. I mean, is it all part of your master plan to destroy the Libertarian Party as some sort of GOP psyops? I mean, it's just so hard to wrap my head around. I'm sorry.
Nice. I mean, this dude is like really, really, oh my God, he's been so shitty. But nevertheless, like, to a certain extent, I kind of do see Vermin's point, right? Like there is a small point here. I think a lot of it is presented in a horrible, nasty way. And I think he's obviously mistaken about a lot of things here. But nevertheless, yes, some of the messaging from the LP has been dog shit.
Absolutely. And many of the candidates that have been endorsed by the LP and especially Mises Caucus have been absolute trash.
Right.
Horrible representations of the party and of liberty.
Yeah, and so I mean, there have been some really bad decisions made, but I mean, like,
that's not the kind of shit he's bringing up.
Right. He's not bringing up Carolyn Borisenko is not an appropriate representative. He's not, you know, like, and there have been some kerfuffles, right? Which is, I wouldn't say is necessarily like proof that the LP is like bad or anything, but like there are things that like should have been handled behind closed doors, and then there should have been a unified message. And I think a great example of this is like the Mark Victor's endorsement in Arizona, right? Like that should have been like, hey, call us. Get on the phone. Okay, what are you doing, man? All right, you're endorsing, like that's your right to do that. All right, everybody get together. This is the messaging from all the big people in the LP. This is what we agree to. We can debate about it. If you want to have a personal opinion, that's fine. Make sure that your personal opinion is stated as not your opinion as a representative of the LP, because this is the LP's official opinion or official statement on this, right? Like when big things happen like that, it's okay that Dave Smith feels differently than Clint Russell, feels differently than Angela McArdle, feels differently than, you know, Todd Hagopin, Spike Cohen, right? It's okay that all these people have disagreements. That's fine. The LP needs to come together, release an official statement, and then all these other people that are also like party members that have positions within the party need to say when they make these opinions, this is my personal opinion, yada, 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 right? And then if they don't, right, like then it's LP's job to do damage control and be like, hey, that's a great, you know, I understand that opinion. This is a link to the official LP's stance on this. Boom, done. Like it's just there have been some things that have shown that the LP is disorganized, right? And that they need a little bit more structure when handling these things because it goes chaotic and it goes off the rails a little bit. And then it creates, I don't want to say drama, but like, you know, mild forms of drama in places where it just doesn't need to be, because if it was better organized, you know, that would be. Also, I don't expect the DNC and, you know, like I don't expect them to have the capacity that like of spin that like these massively funded institutions have, but like there's some room for improvement.
Interesting. I mean, I think you and I have different values, and that might be where this is coming from. Like that we just have that there are different things that you and I care about. And that's okay. But maybe we shouldn't share the same political space, or if we do, it should be more on issue coalitions, not party based. I think some of the stuff that you do on police brutality is really fantastic. I think it's hilarious that you make fun of politicians. You know, but like I'm not into the woke stuff, and I don't want the party to be front and center.
Now, of course, I know you have a very difficult time defining bigots and bigotry. And Dave, could you roll that clip?
Jesus Christ. Like the amount, I don't know that I could put up with the amount of insults that he's hurling without just being like, hey dude, how about you shut the fuck up with the insults? I'm here for an adult conversation. And if you're incapable of having one, then like, we don't need to continue this conversation. Like, I'm a professional, as you said, like, get with it. Treat me as such. If you refuse to treat me as such and you just want to be a fucking meme, then I'm just going to tell it. Like, but that's probably not a good look for her. That would just cause fucking problems.
There's no win. She's in a no-win position now.
Yeah, this is such a no-win fucking interview.
Like the point is to try and get her to freak out and like get a clip.
So now we're gonna throw up edited fucking together smears that you can see are smears if you just watch the full interviews. Let's go.
Position that you can be a bigot and be a member of the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely the position.
Yeah.
Because we don't agree on what being a bigot means.
Okay. Can segregationists be? Voluntary segregationists are welcome into the Libertarian Party.
Segregation based on what?
Race.
They can.
Now that's outrageous. That's a huge problem for.
Aren't you bigoted?
It's literally freedom of association.
Right. Like, so Vermin. So you're not a libertarian, right? You believe that we should. What enforcement mechanism are you going to use, or are you just going to not trade with those people? Congratulations. That's the libertarian position, which is the same one that she stated. The fuck are you talking about?
Population.
Aren't you bigoted against Nazis? I'm pretty sure you're a bigot.
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you go.
I just, I believe Nazi hatred is certainly acceptable.
That's appropriate bigotry.
Right. But that's appropriate bigotry. Like, I've deemed what's socially acceptable to hate. And if you don't agree with me, then what are you going to do? Are you just going to not associate with those people? Oh, well, then that's the libertarian position. What the fuck are you talking about?
Being a Nazi isn't an indelible characteristic, unless, you know, you're talking to a lefty on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the LP has always, you know, when I entered into working with the LP, I was of the understanding that, yes, it is a little fascist adjacent. Of course, when I was there.
What?
You exercise any use of your authority and command, so you're adjacent to a fascist.
Yeah, that's just absurd. Yeah, I mean, like, Vermin, like, how is it? What is? First of all, what does fascist adjacent even fucking mean? Because we're talking about a political compass, right? Libertarians, especially the Mises caucus, libertarian in the Rothbardian and Hoppian vein, right? Economically, is super right wing. Fascism is center left economics, super authoritarian, right? We are as far away from fascism economically as possible. Now, if you're talking about cultural, right, you could say that the Mises caucus kind of paleo kind of group is somewhat more right wing, but we're less right wing than conservatives or tradcons or things like that. So what does fascist adjacent mean? Does that mean we're not leftists? Because if that's the case, I guess you're right. But leftists are closer to fascism than we are. Like, I don't know of any political ideology that is further away from fascism than anarcho-capitalism. There isn't one. Name one. You can't.
The pragmatism caucus.
They're closer to fascism for sure, obviously.
Not long before your tenure, you had your freaking Chris Cantwell rolling through. You had freaking Saul Invictus rolling through, and now you got now you got Dave Smith loving up on Nick Fuentes, for example. And I know that's not representative of the LP, and that's his own personal choice to bring.
Because he's debated him multiple times.
No, he basically. I don't know the whole. I can't remember the whole thing. I want to paraphrase it, but basically he was like, "This kid did all of these amazing things, and was basically praising Nick Fuentes, which was a bad look. But he wasn't praising him for his ideology. He was basically saying, like, they canceled him. They canceled Banks. They canceled him from every platform, and yet he still grew. And it was a weird praise of Nick Fuentes. I don't know why the fuck he would do that. I don't understand that at all. It was a bad look. But, like, again, it's some of that edgelordy shit where it's, like, technically true, right? And it's just like, cool. You know, at a certain point, you have to recognize that some shit's just terrible messaging. I can't say shit, though, because I've said wild shit, too. So, you know what I mean? Like, but it was an L for Dave. But it wasn't like he was praising him because he was a fascist. He was praising him in the sense that, like, he had built a network and, like, become a young millionaire and all of this other stuff despite being canceled everywhere. I don't really know. I don't remember the full context of what the point was because I didn't investigate it fully, but, like, that's as far as I know.
Bring such scum into his sphere of reality.
But you've only named 2 people. I mean, and they're gone. And everybody knows they're cringe.
Okay, so answer me this, ma'am. Who's your favorite bigot who's currently working with the LP?
Who's my favorite bigot?
Yes.
Can't
I
answer
mean, I know
that
there's
question.
many. I know there's a lot to choose from.
So many to choose from. I mean, you're right here on this call with me, so I guess it's you. You know, like, you're here reaching out. You know, we're getting along. We're doing the thing.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
You're my favorite.
All right, you're welcome.
That was actually a pretty good turn.
You're my favorite bigot too. Anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. That was a good turnaround.
Oh, see?
There you go. So, well, why can't we all get along? Like Rodney King said after
This is genuinely painful.
I get along with a lot of people on the left. I do. I get along with a lot of people on the left.
Now, you do have a history of courting courting anti-Semites, and of course, I'm referring to Hot Tep Jesus. I'm sorry.
She just goes, "Oh my gosh!" Well, listen to this again. Like, oh, this fucking hit piece interview is so, like, it's so crazy.
Of courting anti-Semites. And of course, I'm referring to Hot Tep Jesus. I'm sorry, you're tired of speaking about that one, addressing that one, or roll the clip, Dave, roll the clip.
I reject the premise of your question. I don't actually think that someone who's trying to be a truth seeker and understand what's going on and ask a question about whether or not Jews run Hollywood is an anti-Semite.
Oh,
yeah,
no, just asking.
I don't get it.
I don't understand this idea that, like, I mean, like, yeah, there are certain anti-Semites that call themselves libertarians, but, like, Rothbard was a Jew, Mises was a Jew, Dave Smith is a Jew, Walter Block is a Jew.
Lou Rockwell, if I'm not mistaken.
Spike Cohen is a Jew, but I assume the context is she's, I don't know the context. It looks like maybe she's talking about Kanye West.
Well, we don't know because they flipped the question out.
Right. It's just, it's a clip with zero context where she's saying that, like, certain questions aren't necessarily anti-Semitic. I don't know. I'd have to see the context.
Questions. We're just asking.
Yeah, and you know,
right. Yeah. I mean, he set it up as a means of being like, see, you court anti-Semites.
What? It became a huge media frenzy like a year later and a mainstream question. And it was very important for people to actually discover the truth and talk about it so that it would go away and die. And I'm glad that happened.
So you believe you killed anti-Semites.
Okay. So the context was that, like, we should ask these questions so that we can actually legitimately look at them. And she's glad that the evidence shows that that's not the case.
And now we can shut it down.
Yeah, okay.
Even John Stewart was discussing it in public discourse. Bill Maher, people on the left, people who are Jewish, were like, let's go ahead and have a conversation about it. That's good.
Yeah.
It's good to do that out in the light, not in the dark corners.
And why? I mean, I just, Tim Pool, Tim Pool, number one, but German New Medicine on Tim Pool.
So what?
I mean,
wait, Tim Pool is now problematic. The renowned milk toast fence sitter is now like how dare, what is he, an anti-Semite? What the fuck? What
does that mean?
Because, like, there was a period where everyone had the exact same cough despite not being around each other. Like, it was weird. All of a sudden on the same week, everybody was like, I got this cough going on. And I'm like, how come I'm hearing that from like 50 different people? Now I get it. Viruses go around real quick or whatever, but some of these people didn't know each other, you know? Yeah.
So I'll be careful how I phrase it because of where we're streaming to. But if you want to go down a rabbit hole in health,
you can look into German New Medicine, which is a very different view of germ theory and virology and the whole thing with health.
What the fuck? What the fuck is that shit? That's fucking insane. I mean, really?
Well,
really?
no,
Why?
oh my
Why
gosh.
would he even bring that up? I mean, okay, I'm on a conspiracy nut show. I mean, some of these things seem
Because you
very
think
ill-advised.
everything is a conspiracy theorist. Did you bring me on just to scream at me and have like a hysterical fit? Are you okay?
Totally.
Check your blood pressure.
Totally. Of course. I mean, that is why you came on the show, so I could yell at you, right?
Absolutely, it is.
Of course. I
knew
mean,
what I was getting into.
it's obviously a vicious symbiotic relationship, but it's okay.
I'm gonna be real with you guys, right? Like, I don't know what German New Medicine is. I'm gonna be real with you. I have no idea what that is. So I don't know if it's real bad or if it's kind of bad or if it was a joke. Because of course, you know, everything out of context here. I'd have to watch the episode. But I really don't know what that is. Someone in the Discord want to tell me what the fuck German New Medicine is? I'm gonna have to look this up afterwards because it looks like this might be interesting. Hold on, let me ask ChatGPT, because ChatGPT will give me if it's like ChatGPT will let me know how problematic it is. It proposed a theory that links psychological conflicts and traumatic experiences to the development of specific diseases. According to German New Medicine, diseases are seen as meaningful biological responses to psychological conflicts or shocks. Hammer claimed that every disease originates from a specific unresolved emotional conflict, which impacts a corresponding organ or tissue in the body. The theory suggests that
this is Scientology. This is like Dianetic Scientology bullshit.
The theory suggests that once the emotional conflict is resolved, the body can heal itself. However, it is important to note that German New Medicine has been widely discredited, yada, 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 yada. It's crucial to prioritize evidence-based medicine. I mean, again, I need the context because she might not be saying, I believe in German New Medicine. She could just be telling a joke, or she could be like about like something going on, or she could be saying that like everybody's stressed, so they're getting sick. Right? Like, I don't know. Wait, this is your first introduction to Vermin Supreme? Like, I've always known him as like a based troll, but like I never like actually saw him talk seriously about anything. But yeah, again, I don't know what the context of that is, whether or not it's a joke or something, or like or why these people were getting sick. Like maybe there was like this was like I don't know. I'd have to see what's going on.
All I know is from what you just read to me, like it sounds like Scientology.
Yeah, but I mean, like there is something to be said about the fact that psychological trauma causes people to be weakened in such a way that they get sick more frequently. If she's taking like some half and half perspective or something, I don't know.
Yeah, there is something to the notion.
Also,
of
I just don't know if it's a joke. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, we enjoyed
Well,
ourselves.
generally not. I mean, I usually have you blocked on Twitter, but I did unblock you.
Well, I
because
understand.
I thought that would be fun.
I have been blocked for a while, and I appreciate you coming on and allowing me to rattle through all the concerns of my various constituencies. So let's where should we roll it to now? The freaking Rage Against the War. Okay, that obviously that was exciting.
I had some issues with Rage Against the War. Clint Russell made me fucking clarify when I went on his program, but I was like, dude, don't fucking align with commies. Like, that was my whole argument. It's like, it doesn't work out for us. It makes it difficult for us to do damage control. It's bad optics, and we end up getting stabbed in the back. That was my whole issue with it, right? Like, that was it. It wasn't that I was like, you know what I mean? Like I'm some lefty that's like doing, you know, like the Russians or something. I'm sure he's going to take some woke stance on this.
Rage Against the War. I mean, you chased out, you know, the Libertarian Socialist Caucus felt totally unwelcome in your party, and yet there you are.
Good.
Fuck
I don't want
socialism.
libs. Why the fuck would I want lib socks in the fucking party? Why? Because we share the same name, libertarian? Like, okay. Can Nazis call themselves libertarians and then be a part of the party? Well, you apparently had a problem with that when you could name two that are already out of the party. So what the fuck?
Shaking hands.
Yeah, I don't want Vosh in the fucking LP. He's a lib sock. In case you're curious what lib socks are, they're Vosh. That's one example of a lib sock. I don't need Vosh in the LP. Something tells me we don't agree on a goddamn thing.
spaced out, the Libertarian Socialist Caucus felt totally unwelcome in your party, and yet there you are shaking hands with full-on Marxists, criticizing BLM, people screeching and freaking out that BLM is Marxist, and there you are trying to forge this partnership with
Okay, so this is retarded. Like this is I agree that you shouldn't work with the commies. That doesn't seem to be his fucking point. That was my point, was like, let's not work with the commies. But like fucking, yeah, BLM is Marxist. We don't like that. Their plan, which I disagreed with, but like I accept, was let's work with them on a single issue. And the single issue is anti-war. I put a post, link I posted the link in chat if you want to listen to the other half of this. It is I don't know why you would, to be honest. This is sad, unless you want the full context of it so that you can talk shit on Vermin. And also praise to Angela. Praise to her. Like, she kept her, I don't know if she flips out later. I might watch the rest at some other point or something. But so far, she has handled herself so well, given how insane this is.
I think she knew what she was getting into.
I mean, yeah, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't get under your skin. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think either. No offense. I know you wouldn't have gotten that far without being like, go fuck yourself. But I don't know that I would have gotten that far without being like, go fuck yourself. Apparently she does another half hour after that.